I've now started this camera more times than I care to admit to. This is the first video I'm doing on what is probably, an expose of me. An Aspie. Okay, so I could go through the DSM-5, talk about all sorts of things as far as autism is concerned, and people that have communication issues, etc. And I would feel like a total fraud because I don't believe I am autistic. I am an Aspie. Correct terminology on the DSM-4 was an aspergers. A lot of people I know don't like it because it sounds like aspergers, as in an Asperger. Anyway, I'm going to give you a bit of a walk around the farm. I live on a farm, I ride a motorbike, and hell, I'm just like you, and that probably goes both ways. I am high functioning, and about the only thing that is different is I have a condition that means that I have a lot of trouble understanding behaviours, communication, how to interact. In the old classic sense of the word, I would be considered to be maybe a loner. Problem child? Yeah, but that's possible too. Anyway, as I go around, I'm going to be flipping from this ugly mug of mine through to what's going on around me. So I'm going to show you the teenagers first and little babies. So give me a sec. So here we go. We've got our little babies. There's actually 4 of them. Some of them are hiding. Our teenagers, just in case you haven't worked it out, we're talking chickens. So as I said, being on a farm, I have the opportunity to have animals that people in town probably don't. If you can't see through there, the peacocks I've got wandering around in the little aviary type thing. So the peacocks have got to actually be kept, and I'm going to try and actually move around. I've got a beautiful white one that is a little bit on the camera shy, so I don't know if you can see him over there, but the rest are all girls. And I'm going so peacocks got to be kept in an enclosure for about 12 months, or they take off and go and live elsewhere. We started off with some last year. We thought we knew better, and my wife convinced me to let them out after about 4 weeks, and about 4 weeks later they'd moved into a caravan park up the road, but that's a whole different story. So I love this time of year when everything starts to go green. If you're wondering what that great big metal thing is, that's a sorting yard for our goats when they need to get their toenails clipped, because goats need to have pedicures every now and then or their toenails grow too long. But I don't know if you can see them through the bush there. If you haven't worked it out yet, I've got a really broad Australian accent. That's probably because I live in Australia. And we also have alpacas. So let's see if we can get that great big furry thing down there. That's an alpaca. And if I move to the side, whoops, all over the place. That white one, that's a little baby alpaca that was born on our farm. So there you go. And I just realised I've got this in profile, so that's going to be a bit of a problem, but such is life. Okay, I suppose I better end up showing you the other annoying. Whoops, I'll zoom back out a bit. The one laying down, that's Piggy. She doesn't walk much. As far as she's concerned, she'll roll around and eat the grass. Cricket's her little baby. Somewhere around here we've also got a combat goat. Guinea fowls down there, that's Buck. So anyway, this is our little farm, and I am going to, there we go. I'm sorry about fading in and out. As far as the sun is concerned, I don't have any control over the sun, and the direction I'm walking hopefully will allow you to actually see me reasonably well, but without seeing all the rubbish around the place. Okay, I'm going to turn around this way a bit. So, here we go. There's all our little, little chooks are the adult chooks. So the one running towards me at present, that's Spring. He was born on our farm. The one that you see over there, the black and white one, he came and pretty well produced all the rest of them. So yeah. The thing I love about being on a farm is we always have something different happening. Everybody says that an Aspie has to end up like the same. They want to actually always have things happening exactly the same way and do the same things and all the rest of it. That might be true for some, it's not true for me. Some of the terms that you're going to hear in my various videos will be things like NT, which is a neural typical. I normally call them normal types, or well, NTs I normally call them, but for me it stands for normal types. That's the average Joe that actually writes all the rubbish about Aspergers that is not actually an Aspie, and so therefore has no real concept apart from a superficial look. It's a bit like somebody describing how a motor works when they simply look at the engine and go, oh, duh, that must be it. I don't have an awful lot of respect for NTs. There are exceptions. My wife is one of those. She's an absolute genius. But most of them, I hate to say it, but I really do struggle to work out how they breathe and walk at the same time. Don't expect me to end up sugarcoat anything. I just got kicked off Facebook because of the fact that I don't consider myself to be autistic, which is what the DSM-5 puts me as. They want to end up put me as being neurodiverse. I got no problems with that. But on the ASD, the autism spectrum disorder, I don't have a disorder. I'm not autistic. Spectrum? Yeah, I can actually agree with that part. But 2 words out of 3 are wrong, so therefore I've got really no time for it. Facebook. That's actually where I started. They did a wonderful thing for me recently. I was in an argument with a person who wants to call himself autistic, and he showed himself to be a bit of an idiot, so I've got no problems with him calling himself autistic in the slightest. But apparently, the fact that I consider him to be okay to call himself autistic and me to be considered to be an Aspie, that was somehow or other bullying and harassing. So I got kicked off Facebook for a week, and I thought, well, stuff them. If they are going to kick me off a Asperger's group for telling somebody that I'm happy to call them autistic when that's what they're calling themselves, then that is up to them. So, as I said earlier, there's high functioning, there's low functioning. High functioning is all about people who can pass themselves off their masking as being pretty close to a NT. Apart from, obviously, we're smarter. But we end up have to put up with all that sort of rubbish because, high functioning. It just means that we, in reality, we don't need to live in a sheltered workshop. We're not autistic, and most of the time we've got an IQ that's off the charts. Doesn't apply to all of us. As I said, it's a spectrum, and that spectrum goes across many different things, and over the next couple of, well, I don't know how long I'll live for, but I'm hoping that this is going to be a long-term type situation. So hopefully I'll end up put my life story down bit by bit, and you'll understand why I keep referring to it as a spectrum going across a lot of different bits and pieces. Low functioning, people who I would consider to be autistic. I know that sounds little bit of a slap in the face for some, but autism, to my way of thinking, is that's, I think, is what most people envisage when they are thinking about well, if you tell somebody that you're autistic, they'll immediately end up come to the conclusion that you drool, you can't communicate, you can't talk, and you're confined to a wheelchair or live in a special accommodation or something similar to that, which is why I think a lot of Aspies really hate the term autism. I can understand the NTs wanting to take away the negatives from autism, but unfortunately all they really do is place us into a position where we are isolated a little bit more. We're sort of expected to behave in a manner that doesn't fit who we are, and so therefore we get dismissed. We get told that, well, you can't be because you look normal, or you appear normal, you can walk and talk, and it doesn't change the fact that in our minds we've got a million things going on, and we're trying to work out all the different bits and pieces, which is what makes us special. Is that we consciously have to make an effort to understand every aspect that you guys take for granted. So yeah, that can be very, very difficult. So, wrap up. Who the hell am I? Okay, well, we know that I live on a farm. You know that I love all the actual trees when they start going green in the ground. You know I've got goats, you know I've got peacocks, but I've also got a wife. I've got 5 kids, 3 boys that came from my first marriage. I love them dearly, but I have no idea, or I don't know how to communicate with them. And I miss out on so much of their life because I can't understand how to actually fix that bridge. We will go into that at some stage, I'm sure, because there's a lot of stuff there. And this is designed to help NTs understand a little bit more about what we go through, but also for Aspies out there to try and understand a little bit of they're not alone. There's plenty of people that are similar to them. There's even groups. But yeah, hopefully we can find solutions. I also have 2 boys from my current wife who, as I said, is an absolute genius. My first one wasn't, but however, that's another story. That's why she's an ex. But yeah, my current wife, I have 2 boys, and they are learning how to actually deal with Aspergers on the basis that they have to learn how to deal with me. And there are times when things will trigger me and I react in a very negative format. So they are learning what triggers, and I'm learning what triggers, and I'm actually surprised quite often what does trigger me. And again, we'll go into that over the next couple of months, years. So I have, anyway, I'm getting morbid here. I have worked as I was in the army. I worked as a taxi driver. I learned how to do small talk from driving taxis. I then went back to university. I studied community development and welfare, so I was that way. I understood a little bit about what makes people tick. I studied human resource management. All of these courses I studied so that I can blend in better with the general population, if you like. I still struggle. So I still find myself going back to school on a regular basis and trying desperately to find solutions, find a better way to be. Anyway, That's 15 minutes, bloody hell. Anyway, I will talk soon. Catch ya. Next time won't be so long. Bye.